Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, and today's video is rather unique. It is part of a build challenge. Knight Plays, a fellow builder and YouTuber, has devised a competition for me and some other YouTubers, and the whole idea is to design a building that fits the Western aesthetic, but it can be part of an entire settlement, so we can do an entire Western town if we like, but with a focus on one particular building. Now you as the viewer can actually participate in this challenge because there are some prizes up for grabs. Stay tuned to the end of the video and I'll let you know how you can enter that. But that's enough jabbering from me, let's get into it. So I've been looking for the most barren and desolate area of the map, and I think I found it in the glowing sea here, and I have discovered this kind of plateau that I think would be a good location for a town. Let me just bring up the map so I can show you exactly where it is. Right there. So we are very far south, I guess, on the map. And if you're wondering how I'm building here, I'm using the Conquest mod. Please don't use the Conquest mod. It's not really good for anything other than actually constructing the thing that you want to construct. It doesn't really work as a settlement afterwards, as I found out in a recent video. So yeah, just use that mod cautiously, let's say. But for the purposes of today's video, it will be fine, maybe. Alrighty, first things first, I need to place some structures down, or some semblance of where I'm going to put things. So let's do that now. Welcome back everybody, and this is what I have thus far. You can see the border of where I've got to work with, which basically covers most of the flat plateau area and then a little bit of that sort of cliff over there. And I found this kind of entryway over here where it's kind of a natural dip in the land that kind of, I guess, makes sense to me where you might enter the settlement. So I've put the posts up just to kind of show you where the entrance to that is. And of course, with any good Western town, you need like a main street. So I have constructed a main street over here. So that building at the end is going to be the town hall. And then these buildings are going to be, I guess, shops and things and associated buildings. And then I'll probably dot the actual residential houses maybe at the back. That windmill is not final. That's actually part of a mod called Woody's Wasteland stuff. I always get that mixed up. And the buildings are totally not final. I just sort of plonked them down to sort of see in my mind where things are going to go. I'm using the CVC Dead Wastelands mod. They've got this sort of prefab, whole bunch of houses. I'm just sort of plonking them down to sort of, yeah, figure out where exactly things are going to go. But obviously they don't look particularly Western, so I'm going to sort of spice them up. But it gives you an idea of what the town basic layout is going to look like. Now we have to have a narrative, a reason for why this exists, not just because it's a challenge. And what I came up with in my brains is just over those, that rocky hill over there is the actual epicenter of the nuke, the main big nuke that hit the Commonwealth, I guess. And I'm going to say that over here in this sort of rocky outcrop place over here is a mine. I haven't constructed it yet, obviously, but pre-war some folks were in the mine, and the bombs dropped while they were in the mine. They were shielded from the blast. They came up to the surface and it was a hellscape. They decided to stay down in the mine for a little while. They came back out and decided to establish a town because they didn't want to cross this. So that is the reason why the town exists. There is another little secret tidbit that I'm not saying yet. That is going to be a kind of a little secret as to, you know, kind of why this town has been established. Kind of lends to it. But we'll go into that later on. But I have some buildings to construct and a mine to build. So the mission continues. Well folks, things are progressing swimmingly, and hopefully the Western aesthetic is coming through. But you can see we have a very mighty town hall at the end of the road, and we got some churches and buildings, department stores, and a saloon. Now this saloon is going to be the main feature of the challenge, because obviously the challenge, the town is kind of secondary. The whole idea is to focus on one particular building that kind of features the Western aesthetic. So hopefully my saloon here looks westerny, and not much inside, but kind of get an idea of what it's going to look like. And if you're wondering about how I sort of constructed this, let me quickly run you through it. So we have this building over here that's just a placeholder. If we just quickly delete that, and then I'm just going to do a very quick floor. Now I've done a similar technique in one of my previous videos. I think it was the Starlight Drive-In. I had like a little house tutorial. This is basically the same kind of way I'm doing it. So we just get our foundation like that, and then we very quickly just grab a wall or something. I like to use these kind of ones with the gap between the planks. And is that going to snap for us? We don't have to do sort of like piles because it's all going to be hidden by these pieces down here. It's basically like a skirting, I guess. Don't know why it's not snapping to our floor, but there we go. Come on out. Okay, I won't do the whole thing, just to give you an idea. Now, we need a porch, because people in the Old West, they love a good porch. Get that like that, and in this case I will use some beams and supports. I might do that at the end actually, because I need a roof. So I've been using several different mods for the actual aesthetic. So we have the Snappy House Kit stuff here. We have the SOE pack, which is the USS Constitution parts, I think. And then there's the one at the end there is the Whispers extra pieces. So I've been trying to mix and match different mods just so I don't get the same look throughout. But in this case, I might just go for a Woody's Wasteland stuff. That's what I was missing before. And if we just go to walls, it takes a while to load up because I have plenty of mods going on. We just want it to snap like that. Let's get a nice window going like that. We get another window on this side. Because we're facing the wall on that side, let's just bear in mind, I'm just being very rough with this. I'm just sort of showing you a very quick demonstration. Obviously you would want to add a little bit more variety to that, but that's all good. Okay, we'll better chuck a door on there as well. And we need a roof. What roof am I going to go for? Let's go for this one over here. Actually, we could just go for a barn roof or something. Yeah, we'll go for red. What do we got? This one here. Don't know if it's going to snap, but we can be very rough with it. Do something like that. So you can see very quickly we can get an interesting looking building that's not super vanilla. And then for the porch roof, just go for something like this. And then get some supports, our beams. I'll just go for a skinny one. And let's just do one in the middle maybe. Okay, and then I'll jump over to Whispers extra pieces because I got some nice railings. Go for the wood. Now, there is a ton of like dead trees up on the hill there, so that's what I am suggesting that the people that live in this town, where they're getting all this wood from, because there obviously is not a lot of resources in this particular area. Lots of mods, but we'll just go for something simple like this. That's a very quick demonstration on how I've been doing the buildings with the front porches. Same basic idea, just sort of trying to make the main buildings a little bit more square or cube, I guess, and just sort of adding that front fascia bit to make it look more Western, I guess. But yeah, lots of wood and I guess as little metal pieces as possible because they don't really feature in Western buildings. And before I leave you, come over here because we have the entrance to our mine. Now, if you've seen my recent bunker video, you'll know how I sort of constructed this sort of stuff with the rocks and the mods I used to do that. it's the same basic idea. I probably won't run through it with this right now, but yeah, just get going to a mod like static objects and buildings, just grabbing the cliffs within that mod and just making a space that we can sort of hide an entrance that way. So if you want to know how I did that, just go to the bunker video that I did maybe a couple of weeks ago. And at the end here, we've got an FSE mod door. So if I go through that door, it'll load up a new cell. And within that cell is going to be the rest of the mine. So that'll help the narrative that I've sort of constructed with this whole town. But yes, I've got the rest of the buildings to construct, and I want to put a Brahmin farm on the other side of these buildings over here. So let's do that now. Well, I'm happy to say that I think the bones of our town are now complete. I don't think there is much room for much more. But you can see our main street is complete now. I chucked some roads down, so we have what looks like a proper road now. That's from the static objects and buildings mod. And yeah, we've got most of what you might need in a town. We've got a police station, got the hotel, got a church, we have a restaurant, saloon, department store. We'll talk about that later, that building over there, and a town hall. And obviously these buildings are empty, so we have to do interiors, but the rest of them are residential. We've got some houses over here. This is actually going to be a gun store. And we have a Brahmin farm over here, so I've got a couple of pens with some little shelters, and then just like a little lookout so the farmer or whatever can sort of watch the flock. And we have a blacksmith over here. First time I've made a blacksmith, I think. And the foundation is mostly individually placed blocks, so that took a long time. Not fun, but I think the aesthetic looks kind of cool. Got the chimney there, poking out the top there. And what's this building over here? It's the funeral home. So you can see there I've started sort of kitting it out. Oh, we have a building over here that's under construction as well. But I have got a lot to do because obviously we need a full interior fit out of this entire place. I'm going to be using the CVC mod very heavily. But I won't show you that process because I've done plenty of that in other videos. What I might do is just skip to the very end and we can do a full tour of the entire settlement as well as our new mine, which now has an interior. So I've got a lot of work to do, but I will see you in a minute and show you how it all turned out. And with the magic of television, we are complete. This was a very fun build, and I think the location actually lends quite well. I really like the haziness of the glowing sea here. But let me clear it up because we need a bright environment to sort of see all the details. So let's get to it. Alrighty, so our journey starts at the main gate here, and I've got a Brahmin skull just to sort of put up there. And this is our first residential home, fairly standard. Now it is a Western theme, but and I've tried to sort of keep that with the interior fit outs as well. Try not to use too many sort of pieces of technology, but you know, it is post-war, so we do have some consoles and sort of electricity dotted around the place, but for the most part it's mostly utilizing lots of wood and candles and things for lighting. This is our gun store. You can see we have plenty of options all behind the counter here. Oh, I forgot to put a door here. Well, I will need to remedy that, but for now that's fine. You can see we have the ammo section over here and then plenty of guns to choose from. Now, as I mentioned at the very beginning, the Conquest mod, and this is one of the foibles I have recently encountered with another build, and unfortunately it's plagued this build, is that the settlers, when you spawn them in, they just cannot be interacted with, and I cannot assign them to any positions. Now we have a person here manning the counter, but unfortunately this is just a mannequin with the costume, the gas mask and everything on, and that's how I've sort of gotten around this particular issue. So just think of the settlement as a diorama rather than a functioning settlement. I'm not too fussed because I kind of figured that was going to happen at the beginning, as mentioned with the Conquest mod, but it's just one of those things that you have to deal with, so I would definitely not recommend that mod, but that's fine for this purpose. Here we have another residential house, nicely appointed I must say, And we have the first of our sort of manned carts here. We have a Yao Guai sort of pulling this cart along, and we have the person sort of making sure that the Yao Guai is behaving itself. And I put sort of like a robot shield thing, body, whatever, over the eyes, just in an attempt to try and make it a little bit more docile, a little bit more tame. And so this is an actual settler. I can talk to them, but I can't sort of interact with their inventory. I can't assign them to anything. So unfortunately, they just sort of stand around and kind of walk. I don't even think that they sit down on the chairs, which is something they usually do, I think, when they're unassigned. But anyway, this is our sort of build site. Nicely put together there. We have a guard dog to our police station. And inside they have the police desk. Well, it is actually manned by the Minutemen, of course. So this doesn't actually have a police force. And inside is a little spot for our guards to sit down. And this is one of the cells. So we have a prisoner. We have a little, I don't know, sleeping area. We have a bucket for the toilet. And then a bucket for fresh water. So that's what they get to use. And inside is just somewhere to sit down, some water, and another seat. Very good. Okay, should we do the back? Yeah, let's do the back. So we just have some more houses at the back here. And we have a long drop. Again, this one's got 2 beds. But yeah, not lacking for facilities and things to eat, things to drink. So this one is going to be the butcher of the town, also doing some hides, some tanning, I guess. And inside, somewhere to process the meat, hanging up. And I did put the bed up on a loft type situation. Okay, another house over here, just sort of fairly standard again, but nicely appointed for sure. I will attack over there later on. Let's go back to the main road and check out the restaurant cafe. So fairly standard, keeping it old school. Got the kitchen over here and the person manning the desk or the counter. And then just like a cigar lounge over here in the corner. And this one actually does have another sort of outhouse long drop dedicated to this particular building. So not every building has them, but I've sort of dotted them around the place. And you can see our Brahmin farm has some Brahmin now. I'll check that out in a minute. Let's just go across the road again to our hotel. The hotel is fairly standard. We just have somebody at reception, and basically all the rooms are the same. I'll just go upstairs to show you what they look like. Fairly standard. It's just got the sort of bare minimum, and we've got a porch deck thing happening out here. So you can see all the rooms are fairly typical. And for the bathroom, just outside, you come down here, and this is what you have. So definitely not the most glamorous, but we are meant to be in the Wild West here. Okay, let's check out our main feature here, which is our saloon. So we have a Brahmin sort of trader sort of strung up here to whatever they call this thing. And this lady looks like she's been in a bar fight. So we have the outdoor area. You can just hang out here, come through the saloon doors, and this is what it looks like inside. So the running joke is obviously that, you know, we are on the glowing sea, so you need to take precautions with the radiation and covering up, and, you know, how these people can drink and smoke in the bar with masks and helmets on is beyond me, but there we go. It's all part of the fun. And if we go upstairs, we have some people having a good time out here on the balcony overlooking our town. And the owner of the bar saloon has their own little dwelling at the top here. Very nice. Alright, let's just take the quick way down. So this is the main feature of the town. It's my submission to the Western theme. That's the building there. Hopefully I hit that on the head. Oh look, that person's having some trouble too. So this is our Fallon's general store. So everything you might need in the glowing sea to survive. And this dude's just hanging out, making sure nobody steals anything. Okay, let's go check out the church. Every western town needs a church. And the dude in the space helmet is giving some kind of sermon to a riveted audience there. Alrighty, let's go around the back of the building here. So we have our funeral home. So this person's making a bunch of caskets. And we got some clientele over here. And inside we have just sort of a desk where somebody can sort of talk about their loved one that has passed away. And we have like an autopsy embalming table at the back there. Perfect. Okay, another residential home here. I think this is actually the first home I did the interior for. And our blacksmith. So first time I've done it, it probably doesn't work in real life, but we have this sort of hot coals down there melting the furnace stuff, whatever's in the furnace, and then our chimney going out the top there. We got our tool table and firewood and stuff over here, and this person is just sort of waiting to smelt whatever they need to do. Alrighty, let's check out our Brahmin farm here. So again, with the Brahmin, I can spawn in some real kind of moving animated Brahmin, but unfortunately they lean up against the fence there and disappear off into the glowing sea to be attacked by death claws. So in this instance I have used some more static Brahmin, and we even have a bison buffalo version, which is kind of cool. And we just have some CV-seated Wastelands hay just to sort of make it look a little bit more dynamic. So in here is just a little hangout spot where the farmer can just keep an eye on the flock. And again, some more over here. Very good. At the back there isn't much to see over there, just some general bits and bobs. So let's go to our town hall and have a look inside. We have a community notice board. So come in here, and this is where the mayor and the elders will have a meeting with the town, and you can sort of sit down and listen to what they have to say. And then upstairs we have admin, and this is where our sort of slight electronic sort of hint is sort of coming into play here. So we do have consoles and radios to, I guess, interact with the wider Commonwealth. And this is where the town admin figures things out, takes notes, and we have a little balcony to look at our cliff. Very nice. So let's go to the other side and let's talk about our mine, because there's a little bit of backstory to this. We have some dudes just hanging out and cooking stuff over here. Another outhouse. Okay, so let's talk about this building. So as mentioned at the beginning, I said that the people that established the town were miners that were inside the mine while the bombs were dropping, and they came up and discovered this hellscape. Now, how did they sort of survive longer term inside the mine? Well, there's actually a fresh water source inside the mine. I'll show you that in a second. But they were able to sustain themselves for a sort of extended period of time. And then when they sort of came back to the surface to establish the town, they were able to survive in this location with the fresh water pumped from below. So that's what's going on here. So we have pipes pumping the water all the way to the surface. We have this pump over here run by the generator that feeds into this tank here, and then that's gravity fed into this building here. And if I go through the front entrance here, anybody in the town that comes through the town, they can source radiation-free clean water through here. So it's basically a water shop. So this person's manning the station here, and we have sort of fresh water that you can fill up your bucket, or we have barrels of it. And come through here, we have a sort of painting station, so you can mark the barrels, purified water. Got plenty of stock here, or you can bring a barrel and that's what's happening over here. So we have our tap feeding the barrel, and we have this person filling up their cart full of fresh water to distribute around the Commonwealth. Alrighty, so let's see what the operation looks like within the mine, and let's do that now. So FSE door, go through this door, it'll load up a new cell. Okay, so we've just come through the door here, and it's loaded into our mine. Now you can see here that our mine is actually a 90-degree turn from the actual door. So I have this sort of rotary, I don't even know what it's called, but you know, you put the cart on there and you can rotate it whatever direction you want. And this is our pulley system to get the carts from below and bring them up to the surface. So that's how that works. The actual tracks leading out of the mine are all, it's gravity fed, so you just need to get it to this top point through the door. Obviously the door was to protect the whatever was inside the mine, so this came later, but pre-war this sort of just had a 90-degree turn here and then lead out the mine through this gap. Now if we spin around, before I do that, this is kind of what the original miners were mining. I guess it's like a quartz material, but let's turn off our Pip-Boy here and just see what our mine looks like. Okay, so let's follow the tracks deeper into the mine here. And this is the original part of the mine shaft. So this is what they were doing down here when the bombs were dropping. So we have some quartz or whatever this material is poking through the wall of this cavey bit, and the original miners would be down here tapping away, filling up their carts and then dragging it back to the surface. And this is kind of where they hung out for a little while all the surface was burning. But as I mentioned before, they found the water source, so let's go check that out now. So we just go up here, and then hidden within the crack in the rock we have sort of like an underground oasis, purified water, obviously getting filtered through layers and layers of rocks and sand and whatever else within the glowing sea. So it's probably not fully radiation free, but it's probably as pure as you're going to get. And let's go check out our pump setup down here. So no swimming obviously, because we don't want to taint the water source. So we have the waterfall coming down here, just running this generator, and that is giving power to our pump situation here. And as you can see, we've got the pump connected to a pipe that I've tried my best to link it all the way to the surface and our filling station outside. So this pipe actually goes all the way through the rest of the mine shaft and then through the door area. So that took quite a while, as you can imagine, trying to make that all work. And just as a little Easter egg down here, we actually have a gulper down there. It's not a rock, that's where the bubbles are, but there is, yes, a creature living down there. Somehow found its way there, just a little Easter egg. Anyway, let's make our way to the surface and talk about this giveaway. So Night Plays has very generously contributed some game keys. For the full list of games and competition details, check the links in the description below. If you would like to enter the draw to win one of the game keys, please like this video and subscribe to the channel, and leave a yeehaw in the comments below. That is YEE-HAW. That's just so we know who you are. Now this video will be in a dedicated playlist with other submissions to the challenge. If you want to double your chances to win a game key, go check out the other videos and do the same process. Like, subscribe, and leave your comment, and hopefully you will be one of the lucky winners. I just want to say a massive thank you to Night Plays for putting this whole challenge on, and of course for putting up the game keys as well. I very much enjoyed making my submission to the challenge, and I hope you enjoyed watching the video too. Don't forget to enter the competition. Remember, all details will be in the description below. And until next time, have a good day.